Trust is one of the most precious yet fragile things we have in life. It's the foundation of every meaningful relationship, the glue that holds communities and friendships together, and a cornerstone of personal peace. But what happens when that trust is misplaced? When we open ourselves to people who don't have our best interests at heart, who drain our energy, or worse, betray us. The damage isn't just external. Misplaced trust shakes the very core of our tranquility and mental well-being. You've probably experienced it yourself, feeling the sting of betrayal, the exhaustion of dealing with someone manipulative or unreliable, or the frustration of being caught in toxic dynamics. These experiences can leave us wary, defensive, and sometimes even cynical about trusting again. Yet trust is essential for connection, growth, and happiness. So how do we protect this vital resource without closing ourselves off or becoming cold? This is where Stoic wisdom offers profound guidance. The ancient Stoics understood the complexity of human nature and the challenges of trusting others. They didn't advocate blind faith or naive openness, but taught discernment, self-mastery, and the careful stewardship of our inner peace. From their perspective, trust is a rational choice, one we make based on virtue, wisdom, and clear understanding of human behavior. In this video, we'll explore 9 types of people you should never trust if you want to protect your peace and energy. This isn't about labeling or condemning others harshly, but about recognizing patterns that threaten your well-being and learning how to navigate relationships with clarity and strength. These 9 types, manipulators, gossipers, chronic liars, energy vampires, the envious, the unreliable, the judgmental critics, the self-centered, and the false friends, each have ways of disrupting your mental and emotional balance. By understanding these archetypes through the lens of Stoicism, you'll gain practical tools to identify harmful influences before they take root, set boundaries without bitterness, and maintain your equanimity in difficult interactions. We'll delve into why these types undermine trust, how they affect your inner peace, and most importantly, how you can respond with wisdom rather than reaction. Trusting wisely means protecting your energy so that you can focus on what truly matters, living virtuously, cultivating meaningful connections, and maintaining a peaceful mind. It's about choosing who deserves your attention and care, not out of fear or suspicion, but from a place of strength and clarity. If you're ready to reclaim your peace, fortify your mental resilience, and navigate relationships with the grace of a Stoic sage, this video is for you. Together, we'll learn how to build a shield of discernment around your trust, so it remains sacred and your energy remains yours. Let's begin this journey to protect your peace and energy by understanding the 9 types of people you should never trust. Because your tranquility is priceless, and wise trust is the path to preserving it. Trust isn't something to be given lightly, and the Stoics understood that well. From their perspective, trust is a rational choice grounded in virtue, wisdom, and a clear-eyed understanding of human nature. They knew that people are complex beings with strengths and weaknesses, capable of kindness, but also of selfishness, deceit, and error. This recognition is crucial because it frees you from the dangerous illusion that everyone will act in your best interest or that people are inherently reliable. Instead, Stoicism teaches us to approach trust with discernment. You assess not only others' words, but their actions, consistency, and character over time. This measured approach protects your peace by preventing reckless or naive openness that can lead to betrayal or harm. Moreover, trust is deeply connected to your own mental state. When you trust unwisely, you give away your peace and energy, becoming vulnerable to disappointment, manipulation, and emotional turmoil. The Stoics remind us that protecting your inner tranquility is paramount because external circumstances, including people's behavior, are beyond full control. By developing wisdom about who deserves your trust and who does not, you cultivate a fortress around your peace. This doesn't mean closing off from others or becoming cynical. It means engaging with clarity and self-respect. To safeguard your energy, you need to understand the common types of people whose influence is most likely to disrupt your mental and emotional balance. Identifying these types is the first step in building protective boundaries that keep your trust and well-being intact. Let's begin with the first type, the manipulator. Manipulators are skilled at exploiting trust for their own gain. They often use charm, flattery, or guilt to bend others to their will, hiding their true intentions behind a facade. Their actions are guided not by mutual respect, but by control and selfishness. From a Stoic perspective, recognizing manipulation involves keen observation and self-awareness. The manipulator's influence drains your energy and disrupts your peace, so you must respond not with anger or resentment, but with calm discernment. Set firm boundaries and refuse to be drawn into their schemes. Protect your autonomy without falling into the trap of emotional reactivity. Next, we have the gossip. Gossipers thrive on spreading rumors and stirring discord, often disguised as casual conversation. They violate trust by sharing private information or twisting facts, which can fracture relationships and sow suspicion. The Stoics valued discretion and silence, understanding the power of words to build or destroy. Distance yourself from gossip by refusing to engage in it and by protecting your own integrity through silence when necessary. Compassion can be extended, but not at the cost of your peace. Then there are chronic liars. Habitual dishonesty corrodes trust and erodes the foundation of any relationship. Stoicism holds truthfulness as a cornerstone virtue. Dealing with liars requires careful attention to their patterns and a willingness to disengage when deceit becomes a constant. By focusing on what you can control, your own honesty and boundaries, you preserve your peace. Expecting others to change overnight is unrealistic. Instead, manage your trust wisely and don't allow deception to penetrate your mental defenses. Energy vampires represent another destructive type. These individuals drain your emotional and mental resources, often through negativity, constant complaining, or dramatic behavior. Their presence leaves you exhausted and unsettled. Stoicism teaches the importance of protecting your inner tranquility by setting boundaries. Recognize when someone's influence diminishes your equanimity and learn to limit your exposure without guilt. Cultivate detachment to maintain your energy and focus on your own virtue and growth. Envy is another corrosive force. Envious people harbor resentment toward your success or happiness, often masking their feelings through passive-aggressive behavior or undermining actions. Stoics viewed envy as a destructive passion to overcome, both in ourselves and others. Protecting yourself involves recognizing envy's subtle signs and not internalizing their negativity. Respond with kindness, but keep your distance when necessary. Maintain your own sense of gratitude and humility, which serve as shields against envy's toxic effects. Unreliable individuals bring instability and disappointment. They fail to honor commitments, leaving you to carry the burden or face unexpected challenges. Stoicism encourages acceptance of impermanence and advises adjusting expectations accordingly. When dealing with the unreliable, set clear boundaries and communicate your needs explicitly. Accept that you cannot control others' reliability, but can control your response and preparedness. This approach preserves your peace and prevents unnecessary frustration. Judgmental critics constantly find fault, often in destructive ways. Their negativity can chip away at your confidence and create tension. Stoicism urges non-judgment and self-awareness as defenses against such corrosive attitudes. Develop detachment from harsh judgments and remind yourself that others' criticism often reflects their own struggles. Respond with humility, but protect your mental space by not internalizing destructive criticism. Self-centered people prioritize their own needs and desires, often disregarding others. Their selfishness can harm relationships and erode trust. Stoic teachings on justice and mutual respect guide you to navigate these interactions wisely. Maintain your integrity and assert your boundaries clearly. Engage with fairness, but avoid being drawn into selfish dynamics that compromise your peace. Finally, false friends betray trust by pretending loyalty while acting against your interests. The Stoics valued genuine friendship grounded in virtue and mutual respect. Recognize false friends through consistency of actions over words. Protect your peace by discerning true allies and releasing those who harm you under the guise of friendship. By understanding these 9 types through a Stoic lens, you equip yourself to guard your trust wisely. Protecting your peace and energy isn't about suspicion, but about rational discernment, self-respect, and commitment to virtue. This wisdom empowers you to build healthier relationships and maintain tranquility amidst life's complexities. When it comes to gossipers, these individuals can be incredibly disruptive not only to your peace, but to the fabric of your relationships. Gossip is often cloaked in seemingly harmless conversation, but its effects are far-reaching. It sows seeds of mistrust, amplifies misunderstandings, and fuels unnecessary drama. The Stoics valued discretion and silence, understanding that words have power to either build or destroy. Engaging with gossip pulls you into cycles of negativity and distraction from what truly matters, your own virtue and tranquility. To protect your peace, it's essential to recognize gossip when it arises and consciously choose not to participate. This doesn't mean turning cold or judgmental, but rather exercising the wisdom to know when silence is the best response. Imagine yourself in a conversation where gossip starts to surface. The Stoic response is to gently steer the discussion toward more constructive topics or to gracefully disengage. You maintain compassion for others but refuse to let harmful talk invade your mental space. This boundary preserves your energy and models integrity. In communities, gossip can fracture trust and harmony. Stoicism teaches us to uphold social cohesion by practicing honest and respectful communication. Being the person who refuses to spread rumors elevates your character and invites others to rise as well. Moving on to chronic liars, habitual dishonesty is a serious breach of trust. The Stoics placed truthfulness at the core of virtue because lies distort reality and undermine relationships. Liars create confusion and instability, making it impossible to build authentic connections. Recognizing chronic lying requires attentiveness to inconsistencies and patterns of deception. Once identified, Stoicism encourages clear-eyed acceptance. You cannot change another person's nature, but you can control your response. Protecting yourself means setting firm boundaries. Choose to limit your engagement with those who consistently deceive. This isn't about harsh judgment, but preserving your own peace and avoiding entanglement in falsehoods. Moreover, embodying honesty yourself strengthens your inner fortress. When you live transparently and truthfully, you build mental clarity and avoid the internal turmoil that deceit causes. Stoicism teaches that peace comes from aligning your words and actions with reality. Surrounding yourself with honesty nurtures this harmony and helps you flourish. By steering clear of gossip and chronic liars, you safeguard your mental and emotional energy. These types of people, if unchecked, can drain your peace and pull you into destructive cycles. The key is practicing discernment, not reacting out of anger or fear, but calmly assessing the impact of these influences and choosing wisely where to invest your trust and attention. In doing so, you not only protect yourself, but also cultivate an environment where virtue, truth, and tranquility can thrive. Energy vampires are those people who, whether consciously or unconsciously, drain your emotional and mental reserves. They may constantly complain, sow negativity, or demand attention without reciprocation. Being around them leaves you feeling exhausted, anxious, or overwhelmed. The Stoics recognized the importance of guarding one's inner tranquility and saw protecting your peace as a form of self-respect and wisdom. Dealing with energy vampires calls for clear boundaries and self-awareness. You don't have to cut everyone off completely, but you do need to be mindful of how much time and energy you give. Learn to recognize when an interaction leaves you depleted rather than uplifted. Stoic practices such as reflection and mindfulness help you notice these energy shifts. When you sense your calm slipping, take a step back. Protect your mental space by limiting exposure and not engaging in draining conversations. Maintaining equanimity means not allowing others' negativity to provoke you. Instead of reacting emotionally, observe the situation with detachment and choose how much influence you allow others to have over your inner state. By conserving your energy and prioritizing relationships that nourish you, you build resilience and preserve your mental strength. Envy is another insidious type that can poison trust and peace. Envious people resent others' success or happiness, often masking their feelings with passive-aggressive behavior or undermining actions. Stoicism teaches us that envy is a destructive passion that disturbs the mind and blocks contentment. Protecting yourself from envy involves recognizing its signs early. Notice when someone's praise feels insincere or when they downplay your achievements. Responding with compassion rather than judgment can sometimes soften envy, but always maintain clear boundaries to avoid being dragged into toxic dynamics. Cultivating your own gratitude and humility acts as a shield against envy's influence. When you are grounded in appreciation for what you have and accepting of your own journey, you are less vulnerable to comparison and negativity from others. Stoicism encourages focusing on your own virtues rather than measuring yourself against others. This perspective fosters peace and keeps envy from undermining your relationships. By understanding and guarding against energy vampires and the envious, you protect your peace and nurture an environment where trust and positivity can flourish. Unreliable people introduce unpredictability and disappointment into your life. They may fail to keep promises, show up late, or disappear when you need them most. From a Stoic perspective, this unreliability disrupts social harmony and tests your patience. However, Stoicism also teaches acceptance of things beyond our control, including the behaviors and limitations of others. When dealing with the unreliable, it's essential to adjust your expectations realistically. Understand that you cannot force consistency in others, but you can control how you respond. Setting clear boundaries and communicating your needs openly helps minimize frustration. For example, if someone repeatedly fails to meet commitments, consider limiting your reliance on them or seeking support elsewhere. This pragmatic acceptance doesn't mean condoning disrespect or neglect, but rather preserving your peace by not allowing others' failings to dictate your emotional state. Focus on your own reliability and virtue as a foundation for trust and stability. Judgmental critics are those who constantly find faults and pass harsh judgments, often without constructive intent. Their negativity can erode your confidence and create tension in relationships. Stoicism encourages practicing non-judgment, self-awareness and compassion, both towards oneself and others. By cultivating detachment from others' criticisms, you protect your inner peace. Remember, people's judgments often reflect their own insecurities and struggles rather than objective truths about you. Responding with humility and a willingness to learn when appropriate, but not internalizing unwarranted criticism, is key. Developing emotional resilience against judgment strengthens your mental fortitude and helps maintain balanced relationships. Instead of reacting defensively, practice thoughtful reflection to discern useful feedback from harmful criticism. Navigating interactions with judgmental critics with grace and equanimity aligns with Stoic ideals of reason and self-control. This approach fosters mutual respect and reduces unnecessary conflict. By recognizing and managing the impact of unreliable people and judgmental critics, you further safeguard your trust and energy. You create boundaries that protect your tranquility and cultivate relationships grounded in respect, reliability, and understanding. Self-centered individuals prioritize their own needs and desires above others, often disregarding the feelings or well-being of those around them. This selfishness can strain relationships and drain your emotional reserves. The Stoics emphasize justice and mutual respect as fundamental virtues, reminding us that living in harmony requires balancing our interests with those of the community. Dealing with self-centered people requires firm boundaries and clear communication. It's important to assert your needs calmly and consistently without being drawn into their self-focused narratives. Remember, their behavior is a reflection of their own limitations, not your worth. Stoicism teaches that while you cannot change others, you can control your responses and maintain your integrity. By refusing to enable selfishness or absorb its negativity, you protect your peace and model the respect and fairness you expect. This approach not only preserves your mental energy, but also encourages healthier dynamics over time. When self-centered behavior is met with steady fairness and calm, it can invite reflection and change, though this is ultimately their choice. Finally, false friends betray trust by pretending loyalty while acting against your interests. This betrayal cuts deeply because it violates the fundamental expectation of friendship, mutual support, and honesty. The Stoics valued genuine friendship as a relationship built on virtue, trust, and shared values. Identifying false friends requires attentiveness to inconsistencies between words and actions. True allies demonstrate reliability and care through their consistent behavior, especially in difficult times. Protecting yourself from false friendships involves discerning who truly supports you and who undermines you covertly. Stoic wisdom encourages focusing on quality over quantity in relationships, valuing those who enrich your life and embody virtue. When betrayal occurs, the Stoics advise acceptance without bitterness. Holding on to resentment only harms your own peace. Instead, learn from the experience, strengthen your discernment, and move forward with grace. By understanding and guarding against self-centered individuals and false friends, you shield your trust and preserve your mental and emotional well-being. This wisdom empowers you to cultivate relationships that nourish your spirit and maintain your tranquility. As we reach the conclusion of this exploration into the 9 types of people you should never trust to protect your peace and energy, it's important to reflect on the greater lesson Stoicism offers us, the power of discernment combined with virtue. Life will always present you with a variety of personalities, some uplifting, some challenging. Your task is not to control them, but to control how you engage with them, choosing wisely who earns your trust and who does not. Protecting your peace is not about building walls of suspicion around yourself, but about cultivating clear boundaries rooted in self-respect and wisdom. It means recognizing when a relationship nourishes your soul versus when it drains your vitality. This discernment is a form of self-love and strength, an essential practice for maintaining tranquility in a chaotic world. Remember that trust is a precious resource. The Stoics teach that it should be extended based on reason and virtue, not on convenience or fleeting emotions. When you align your relationships with these principles, you create an environment where your mental and emotional energy can flourish. Furthermore, this journey calls for self-mastery. The more you cultivate your own virtues, honesty, patience, courage, humility, the more resilient you become to the negative influences of others. Your inner fortress grows stronger, and your peace becomes less vulnerable to external disturbances. It's also crucial to approach this path with compassion for yourself and for others. People who exhibit these challenging behaviors often suffer from their own struggles and limitations. Your discernment doesn't require harsh judgment, but thoughtful detachment and a commitment to your own well-being. By embodying stoic wisdom in your relationships, you reclaim your power and create space for genuine, healthy connections. You preserve your peace and energy, enabling you to live more fully, with clarity and purpose. So guard your trust with care, nurture your inner virtues, and approach every relationship with thoughtful discernment. In doing so, you not only protect your own tranquility, but also become a beacon of wisdom and strength for those around you. Your peace is priceless. Protect it fiercely, live wisely, and let your energy be a force for good for yourself and the world.